Hey, this is Brad from Argali, and I am getting ready to go on a backpack sheep hunt up in Alaska. I've got all my gear here on the table. I'm going to walk you through everything I'm going to take on this hunt, as well as the why behind everything I'm taking. Okay, as you can see, I've kind of got I don't have a huge table in front of me here, so I'm going to start with talking about a few items, and then I'm going to take them off the table so I have a little bit more space here. So the first thing I'm taking as a backpack on this hunt, I'm taking the XOK4 with a 5,000 cubic inch bag on it. For me, this is a big enough bag for this style of hunt. I'm prepared to go up to 10 days or to have enough stuff to backpack for up to 10 days. I have tried a bigger bag, and it's certainly a little bit more comfortable in terms of having a little bit extra space, but I've found bigger the bag, the more stuff I tend to just kind of put in it. So 5,000 cubic inch pack is plenty for me to take on this hunt. And more than likely, we'll probably do 7 days worth of backpacking. And anytime the biggest thing that takes, or the thing that takes up the most space in your pack on any backpack hunt, it's typically clothes and food being sort of the big one in terms of taking up space and volume, which I'll talk about here in a second. So weapon of choice. So for this sheep hunt, I'm taking my 6.5 Creedmoor. This is the Nosler Mountain Carbon Rifle. I really like this gun. I like the caliber. It's a really sweet setup. It's fairly light as well. And I've got the Vortex Razor LHHT scope on top here. It's a 3 to 15 scope. I've played around with using bigger scopes that have higher magnification. I've come back down and just found that this is a great scope, all-around scope. I use it for pretty much all of my rifles now. It's lightweight. There's plenty of magnification for me to shoot out to distance. Really love this entire setup. And I've got the Spartan Precision bipod on the front here. I have no idea which model this is right here, but I really like this thing. And this will sit, I keep this thing when I take it off, just for quick access. This will sit underneath my FHF bino harness. They've got a little attachment for this, and it'll sit right underneath my bino harness, so I have quick access to it when I'm in the field. Let me set this out of the way. Let's talk about other shooting. I've got a couple of my Nosler 6.5 Creedmoor. This is the bullets right here. This is a 142 grain AccuBond. I've shot a lot of deer-sized game with these bullets. I really like them. The reason I chose to take this 6.5 over some bigger calibers that I have is I went out and did a side-by-side comparison test shooting out to like 600 yards, it's 530 yards at our public range. And the 6.5, it was a really strong, probably 15, 20 mile an hour crosswind. The 6.5 had a lot less wind drift compared to even my 28 Nosler, which is a much faster shooting gun. So there's more than likely going to be some windy conditions on this hunt. So just have a lot of confidence in that round. Okay, let's finish up with optics here. I've got the Vortex Razor 65 mil spotter with me, and I've been using that all-in digiscoping attachment, which is really going to be important for sheep in terms of field judging them, because you can only shoot a full curl ram. So going to be able to get high quality photos and video from this thing is going to be important for judging. I carry a few extra, I know I'm deviating from my optics setup here, but I take 8 bullets into the field. I don't take any more than that. I know some people like to take a bunch, but my philosophy is like, this is overkill for me even. I feel like I'm taking way too many bullets, but just if something goes haywire, I've got a few extra rounds to shoot in the field. I'm also, for the first time, trying out, a friend of mine makes this Kestrel glassing systems product. This is a rear support rest. It's a really cool device. I actually have not used one in the field yet, but I'm taking it with me on this hunt as a rear support for my rifle to see how I like it. But I'm really interested in this thing and looking forward to giving it a go. It's super lightweight, so it doesn't take up much space or weight in your pack. So could be handy, we'll see. So that's optics, bullets, 10x42 UHDs, favorite all-around pair of binos. And I'm taking my the slick, what is this? The 624, 623 carbon fiber tripod with the Outdoorsman's pan head on it. The Outdoorsman's is definitely heavier than I would like, but it's just so bomb proof. It's so stable, and it's also really easy to switch in and out between my spotter and my binos on this thing. And I've got my Outdoorsman's attachment for my binos. I don't have them out right here, but I have an attachment as well for those things. These over here. Okay, I'm going to talk about all the small items over here as well right now. So I've got our new Guide Series set of game bags, some nitrile gloves, and then I'm taking just a carbon knife, single knife on this hunt with our Kodiak belt. That'll be plenty for me. I'll be able to, that knife will get me through a sheep, and I've got the sharpener on the Kodiak belt as well if I need to touch up my blade. I've got some earplugs, chapstick. It's really windy up there. My lips get chapped. Long-handled spoon, black diamond spot headlamp. I am taking our quick shot adapter. I'll hike around with this quick shot adapter attached to our Carbon X trekking poles. Hopefully I'll be able to get prone when shooting on a sheep, but you never know. If I need some extra elevation, be able to see downhill and get some extra elevation, this could be really handy for shooting. A couple lighters wrapped in electrical tape. I keep this electrical tape on all my lighters. It's just handy for a variety of field uses. Keep a small SOG, multi-tool for gear fixes, inReach Mini, a few extra batteries, one set of extra batteries for my headlamp, 50 feet of paracord, sunglasses, toothbrush, because gingivitis never takes a day off, tags, licenses, everything in plastic bags that I don't want to get wet, especially. More than likely going to encounter rain and a lot of weather on this hunt, so everything needs to be kind of able to get wet or be in my pack and not get soaking wet. I've got a small med kit here that I carry. I've talked about some of the items I carry in my med kit. By no means am I a medical expert, but the things that I really feel like are important, I've got this My Medic Z-Zips 2-pack. This works like if you get a cut or an incision, this works to, you essentially imagine 2 pieces of tape with a piece of plastic in the middle that can pinch your skin. So it's like essentially a replacement for stitches. I have used these. They're incredible. I recommend them to everybody. I've got some tape in here, some ibuprofen, and then I've got the other My Medic product I take are these Super Skin blister patches. These things are incredible. I've used these for gear repairs. I've talked about it before, gear repairs, blisters, any sort of, lots of different uses you can use those things for in the field. So pretty simple. I also carry one of these tourniquet kits. Luckily, I've never had to use one in the field, but just after talking to some friends about this who are in the medical profession, this seems like it's one of those devices, especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere like I'm going to be. This could mean the difference between saving your life or not. So I tend to carry that with me, even though it's bulkier and heavier than I would like to carry. So anyways, that's all a bunch of small items that I like to carry. I'm going to talk about sleep setup real quick. This is just a prototype of our Rincon tent in Dyneema with our half insert. This entire kit right here is going to give me a really comfortable tent setup. I'm going to be protected from bugs and whatnot, and you're right around 2 pounds for this entire setup right here. So insert, tent, stakes, everything. I've got a a pillow right here, and then I've got a 20-degree down sleeping bag. Then I've got an X-Ped, lightweight X-Ped sleeping pad that I'll be sleeping on. So anyways, that's my sleep setup. A couple of things actually I forgot to mention real quick. So I'm taking one platy bladder with me. I'm taking a dark energy battery bank with me, just all to power my inReach in case something goes haywire. I'm also taking 2 13-gallon trash bags. I use these things for a lot. They have a lot of different uses. First of all, I'll put any excess clothes in one of these, and anything I don't want to get wet, like my sleeping bag, I can put in one of these trash bags. So rather than take a rain pack cover and put it over my backpack, which I really have found them to be kind of awkward around your pack, especially if you're carrying a rifle on the side of your pack. I focus on keeping things inside my pack in bags and or trash bags that keeps them from getting super wet. And that way I don't have to worry about a rain fly cover on my actual backpack if we get just a serious bout of rain. So just wanted to mention that. I'm going to talk about clothing, and then I'm going to talk about food real quick. So I'm trying out these crispy Dall boots on this hunt. I wanted something, a pair of boots for this hunt that was relatively light, but also had a relatively stiff sole. I haven't taken these on a hunt yet, but I have taken them on a number of training hikes and have been very impressed so far with these boots. So really like those. Let's see, I'm gonna start from small and go big here, but just a wool beanie, Patagonia boxer briefs. I've said this before, but these things are incredible. I don't know, if you haven't tried out Patagonia's boxer briefs, I think they make one of the most comfortable, best pairs of boxer briefs out there. My favorite red bandana for sun protection. And then I have some long underwear. These are 3/4 zip off long underwear, so I can take them on and off. I don't expect, on this hunt, more than likely, I think the highs might be up in the 60s, maybe it gets to 70 degrees. And then the lows are likely probably in the 40s. It can dip down below freezing though. It's that kind of hunt where it could be relatively warm or it could get really cold and nasty and you just don't really know up in the Arctic. I've got a Sitka merino base layer, and then I got the Sitka mountain pants that I'll be wearing on this hunt. I have 2 pairs of gloves that'll layer. I've got just a merino pair from Sitka and then another waterproof pair from Sitka. Again, in case we get kind of a snow event or just a really cold bout of rain. The other thing I'm doing on this hunt that's a little bit different than what I've done in the past is I'm shaking up my layering system here to try and reduce weight and bulk a bit and using more active insulation pieces than I have in the past. So I've got my, over my merino wool base layer, I'm going to be running this Patagonia hybrid, Nano Air hybrid jacket, I believe. It's a really interesting piece. It's lightweight, but it's incredibly warm for what it is. So you have some sort of synthetic insulation on the sleeves and on the chest, and then you have this, I don't know what it is, sort of magic fabric. This is on the side there, but it's stretchy, it's warm, and it actually breathes really well too. So that will go over the top of, that'll be my second layer. And then the Patagonia Nano Air Puffy, I just have not found a better mid-weight active insulation piece than this jacket right here. This thing, for the weight and the warmth, this thing is just incredible. It's again, some sort of synthetic insulation, which is going to be important on this hunt because of the potential for moisture. This would be my, go over my second layer. And then last thing I've got is, I'm blanking on the name of this jacket, but this is a Sitka synthetic insulation jacket that will go over, I'll have as my outer layer. So 2 insulating layers. It's a bit overkill, but also if we end up getting freezing temps, end up getting 6 inches of snow, this will be really nice to have on the trip. And then I've got some Sitka rain gear. I think this is the Dew Point pants and jacket. They're really light. I haven't used them extensively in really, really wet weather, but like the weight, like the fact they're not super bulky. And then I've got a pair of Sitka gaiters here as well. So that's pretty much it for clothing. I've got these Darn Tough socks that I'm taking, so I will take 1 extra pair of socks to wear, and then an extra pair. And if I need to rotate through those 2 pairs of socks throughout the trip because one's wet over the other, I will. And of course, my camp booties, can't forget those, my favorite Crocs for lounging around in the evenings. I think that's really important to have something to walk around in, get in and out of your tent. Last thing, let's talk about food real quick and nutrition. So I am, taking Peak Refuel meals. I've talked about this before, but one thing that I'm doing on this trip that's really important for me to save space and be able to take a 5,000 cubic inch pack is I only take 1 meal in the foil packaging it comes in. I take all the rest of my meals and I put them in, I I vac seal them in plastic and I put the amount of water on the top there. And then I reuse this packaging right here for all my meals. I only do one dehydrated meal a day, and that's for dinner. For breakfast, I like these Perfect bars right here. These things, 2 of these things weigh about 5 ounces. And I can't remember, these have 320 calories each, so you're 640 calories, which is pretty dang good. Things are filling. They're more filling for me than like a dehydrated granola or oatmeal style breakfast. I can also, my morning routine is typically I'll have a cup of coffee, which I'm going to talk about what kind of coffee I take here in a sec. And then I like to throw those bars in my pack and just go. And that way those bars, I don't like to eat first thing in the morning because I find that I get hungry a lot faster or a lot quicker throughout the day. And then I start eating my lunch, which I have right here. So I'll throw those in my pack. I can have 1 bar, maybe when I get to my first glassing spot, have another one, maybe around 9 o'clock, and then I start eating my snacks throughout the day. My entire daily food kit weighs about 1 pound, 5 ounces. So each day is about 1 pound, 5 ounces in terms of food. So for daily, like what do I eat during the day? I have some dry roasted almonds. I've got some of these Chomps beef sticks right here. I've got 2 mini Perfect bars, 2 RX bars, and then 1 Pro bar right there. So I'd say not a ton of food, but this is enough to get me through the day along with the Perfect bars. Last thing I want to talk about is coffee, because I take this, or excuse me, 2 last things. Hydration and then coffee. Let me talk about hydration first. I'm not a big supplement person. I don't like sugary things. I don't like a bunch of drink mixes that have sugar in them, because I find that it just spikes my sugar levels, and I don't like the way it makes me feel. But on high exertion hunts like this, I do think it's important to have something to help you recover, because I tend to get cramps sometimes on high exertion long days. 2 things I found that I really like for that. These are Element packets right here, LMNT. They're just sodium, magnesium, and potassium. They have a lot of it in these packets. So I take some of those. And then I also take these Hammer Gel Endurolite pills, which are a good quick way to get your vital nutrients that you need to keep your muscles functioning back in your system really quickly. So I take both of these things, and I am taking them on this trip. Last thing I want to talk about is coffee. So I like a good cup of coffee. It's hard in the backcountry to find a really good tasting cup of coffee. There's a company I found out of the East Coast called Swift that makes phenomenal instant coffee. I have no affiliation with them. I have no affiliation with LMNT. So these are just products I really like. But you can buy really good instant coffee from them, either prepackaged or in bulk. I buy it in bulk, and then I package it myself because it's just less expensive. You're talking maybe $1.25 a cup with their coffee in these little bags, which I got off Amazon. It is so much better than any of these stick style coffees that I've had. Again, a little bit more expensive, but for me, it's worth it because it is just so much better, and I enjoy it so much more. And I eat or drink it out of my titanium cup that I have up in the woods. So let's see. I've got my wind burner stove. Mentioned the Thai cup. I think that might be pretty much everything here. Oh, the one last thing I'll say is just to keep things organized. I am bringing on this hunt a handful of dry bags in addition to the plastic bags I have here, just to keep things kind of nice and tidy, and also just keep them from getting soaked if we do have a big weather event and we get rained on for days on end. I don't want to have a soaking wet sleeping bag or something like that out in the field. So that is everything I'm taking with me on my backpack sheep hunt up in Alaska. If you have any questions about anything I've mentioned here, or you have some suggestions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments below.